this is Eric Martin with BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Jeff Pinsker from AMIGO Games, the U.S. branch of AMIGO. Started a couple of years ago, bringing all sorts of fabulous games from Germany more directly to the U.S. market. So glad to have you here. You got a range of games in front of you. On the table, and our demo table is None of a Kind, which was released in German as, was it Rot-Gelb?
Schwarz. Yes.
I forget the
red, yellow, black.
Yes.
Yeah, the colors of the German flag is the secret behind that.
Schwarz. That makes much more sense when you actually describe it that way. So I hope you could give a quick overview of None of a Kind. Maybe Lincoln and Nikki can jump in and play. I know it's a very fast-playing game.
Yeah, and I've got a deck here, so I want to compete with them. I want to see how I do against the game experts, if that's all right. So None of a Kind is based upon a famous psychology experiment called the Stroop test. And what it works with is how your brain processes information that doesn't quite fit together the way it's supposed to. So what you're going to see is cards, and hopefully these will read on camera, where you've got a color.
Nikki can put them on the side here.
Different color. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. So there you look and you see that you've got yellow, but it's written in green. And the experiments show that this is something that takes your brain extra processing time. So as you play this game, your brain can actually increase its processing speed. And it's good for things like multitasking. So the way the game plays is super simple. We lay the cards out, and I'm going to compete here as well. We lay all the cards out, much as you've got there, and we're going to pick up cards, and we have to try and find a card that doesn't match any of the attributes of the card next to it. So, for example, my card says red, but it's printed in blue, and it shows up once. So I have to find a card. I lay that down. That's my first card. And I lay that down, and I am racing to find another card that isn't red or printed in red, that doesn't say blue and isn't printed in blue, and doesn't have one on there. Only one number on there. So, for example, if I pull up this card, that one doesn't work because this is printed in blue and this says blue. Everything else works. This says red and it's green, and there are two on here and one on here. So we keep going until we have a row of 7 cards in front of us. As you'll see on screen, because there are 3 players, we've turned over 3 point cards. Whoever gets there first shouts None of a Kind. It looks like you guys are cheating. Lincoln and Nikki, you already started. I'm still chatting.
Lincoln is starting.
I'm just figuring it out. Just figuring it out.
And
that's the best way to win.
Whoever has the longest string correct is going to get their first choice of point cards. So everybody's going to get a point card.
Shoot, I was ahead by 3.
Sometimes the point cards matter a lot. You might have a 10 and a 0 and a 1. Whoever wins that round is going to get 10 points. Sometimes it could be 3 zeros, and it doesn't really matter who it is that wins that round. So we have each have 1 card up in front of us. If your card doesn't work, you discard it face up. And that gives you a chance to look at the cards that your opponents have played, and you're welcome to grab from those face-up cards as well. All righty? So everybody ready? We're going to go until we have a row of 7, and then shout None of a Kind. We'll all stop. We'll then check our rows and make sure that we've got them right. Whoever has the longest uninterrupted row is going to win the first round and get to take one of those point cards, the first point card. All right? Lincoln, Nikki, ready, set, go. So grab a card. Try and find something that doesn't match any of the attributes of the card that you've got face down in front of you, face up in front of you.
And so Nikki, that doesn't work because it has 2 words, just like your previous card has 2 words.
Right.
I didn't catch that part.
Throw it. Yeah, and when you throw it
back.
back.
So I've got a match here. I've got red printed in blue, and it only shows up once, and then I've got black in yellow, and it shows up twice. So I've made my first non-matching match. And then now I don't have to worry about this first card. I'm only worrying about the second card.
Yes, when you're done with them.
Doesn't work. That's got a 2. Nope.
So Nikki can go back and grab the yellow, the card that's printed in black that says yellow and has 2 on there, right on the left, right?
Right, yeah. You're welcome to grab from the face-up card.
Now you added another one, Nikki, so now it's no good. Because now they're both black.
Exactly, and we're all playing at the same time.
All right. And so all the face-up cards are available. So many choices.
My head's exploding. You got it?
All right, none
No,
of
we
a
got
kind.
3. All right, okay, we only got 3.
The guy who runs the
So,
company has probably won.
I've played this game a couple of times. It's surprising that it doesn't get that much easier as you go along. So let's take a look at my first card, which is red and blue and 1. And then I've got black and 2 and yellow, so that works. So I'm going to put this one down. And then I've got black and 2 and yellow and red and 1 and blue. So that one works. And then I've got red and 1 and blue and 2 and yellow and green. So that one works. And I've got 2 yellows and a green, and I've got 3 reds and blue. So that one works. Over here, 4 green, black. So that one works. And then 4 green, black, and 2 blue, yellow. So I've got 7. All right, go ahead and read out, Lincoln and Nikki, go ahead and read out yours one at a time, and let's see how
All
you
extra 2, all extra 2. I started with 4 green, red, and then I have 3 yellow, blue, and then 2 red, black.
Okay, so those are good. And Nikki?
2 yellow, green, 3 red, blue, and 1 blue, black.
But you said 3 yellow, blue, right? And then 1 blue, black.
Red.
So you lose that last one,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Oh, well,
Okay.
wait, I think,
So-
didn't I mess up with the red then?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I
because
can't
red.
see your card, so I will have
You
to take
can't
it on stage.
repeat. You can't repeat the one
you mess up on the
immediately
red?
before it.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
immediately
no.
before it. Okay.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
it's
Having-
only
bad.
the card that's just before it. Exactly. Thanks, Derek.
Oh, okay, good. Boy, no wonder I couldn't find any. I was trying to do all as they were getting further along. I'm like, wow, this is getting harder and harder.
Oh yeah, that would be super hard. That would be impossible.
Okay, good.
So I would get my first choice. I
Take
take
the
the highest
9.
number out there. Exactly.
Yep.
I think Eric got how many? 3,
I got
and Nikki
nothing.
got 2. So Eric will get to choose next. I'm sorry, Lincoln would get to choose
Yep,
next.
yep.
Thank you. Although
Do
Eric
you
was
think
helping,
you want
I'll
the
know.
4?
So
Sure,
you
I'll
maybe
take the
just
4.
Put those points with Lincoln.
Okay.
Right, and then Nikki
and then
gets
you
one.
play
So
through a certain
to
number
do
of
this,
rounds.
You play 5 rounds, and you hold on to those point cards. Whoever's got the most point cards at the end of the 5th round wins the game.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Hard.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
And
here, Jeff.
I think
Not
one of the
as
beauties of our games
as
is that they're very easy to learn, but there's still lots of subtlety and nuance. This is a game I just happen to do a good job this time. I would say probably 40% of the times that I play, I make a mistake in making a row of 7. So it's something that I'm getting better at, but still not there yet. So there's a teeny advantage to somebody who's played before, but not overwhelming. And by the time you play that second round, everybody's pretty much on equal footing. So that one's
Okay.
called None of a Kind.
So
That'll start shipping in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
okay. So we have 7-8 more minutes here, and maybe we give an overview. We scheduled to talk about Dealt. See, you also have
Dealt.
Bear Down on your own table. Dealt.
I had that one set up in case we had a little extra time, but it doesn't look like we will. So.
Okay. So BGG, we recorded an overview of Dealt when it was originally published in German as Krasskariert, which was a fabulous discovery. Lincoln and I had a guest in our place in Nuremberg, and we played a lot of it when we picked it up. So it's great to see it on the U.S. market.
It's a wonderful game. The thing that strikes me about this game is, it plays like a traditional card game, but if you want to win this game, you have to throw out everything you think you know about card games and approach it completely differently. The object of the game, each of us starts with a hand of 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the object is to get rid of all of your cards. The catch is that you're not allowed to rearrange your cards, and you can only play cards that are adjacent to each other. So a lot of this game is spent trying to figure out how to use in effect, the negative space of your hand, pulling something out. So for example, in this hand, I've got a pair of 9s here, which is a nice strong play. I should mention, by the way, that the way each trick plays is one player leads. Everyone has to play a higher combination that's been played before. So if I play a 9, the next player has to play a 10, an 11, or a 12, or they could play a run of 2, or a pair, or a run of 3, or 3 of a kind. But you always have to be higher than the last card that's played. Exactly, you're always going up there. Exactly right.
Right.
So the
Those
entire
5
game,
layers.
at the same time you're trying to remember how to, trying to figure out how to play your cards on this round, you're really building for the future. So for example, this pair of 9s is pretty good, but look what happens if I pull this 9 out. If I lead and I play this 9, I've now got a 7, 8, 9. These 3 are adjacent to each other. So I've converted a pair of 9s into a straight of 3, which is a higher play, which is a stronger set. And so as the game goes on, you're constantly looking for ways to pull a card out, to bring the cards together in your hand. But you can't rearrange them, and you can only play cards that are next to each other.
Okay.
If you can't play a card that is higher, or a combination that is higher, each player has what is called reserve cards. You can see them out on the other screen as well. You then pick one of those reserve cards and put it into your hand. You can put that anywhere you want to. So for example, I might take this 10 and put it here, so I would have a pair of 10 that I could play in a future round. So even though I have moved farther away from getting rid of all of my cards, I have put together a stronger piece that's going to help me go out quicker. There are 3 special cards in the game. There's the stop card. There's the X, which is a wild card. It can be anything. There's the stop card, which stops the trick immediately, and then you lead the next trick. You start the next trick. And then there's what's called a redraw card, which I really think of as a revenge card, because when I play this, the player who takes that trick must take 3 cards and put them into his or her hand. So sometimes that helps you because you can make your hand stronger, but more often than not, it moves you farther away from your goal of getting rid of all of your cards. The other really interesting thing about this is that there is only one loser. Everybody else wins. So unlike a lot of other games where you see people go after the player that's in first place, when it's clear that there are 2 stragglers, they kind of go after each other to try and knock the other person out. Because if it's a 4-player game and you knock one player out, there are 3 winners and you're one of those. So it's a really interesting dynamic, as I said, that challenges the way that you think about card games.
Right, because you have a hand of cards, you have the 2 reserve on the table, and when you can't play or choose not to play, you pick up one of the reserves. But if you can no longer pick up a reserve card, then you lose the round and lose a token. Correct?
Exactly, right. So you start with either 2 or 3 tokens, depending on how long you want to play for. 2 tokens takes about 20 minutes. 3 tokens takes about 30 minutes. And so when you can't play exactly, then you will lose it, and you don't have any reserve cards left, then you lose a token. And when you have a token, when you owe a token and don't have one to give, then you are out of the game, and everybody else wins. So I said, it's this really interesting dynamic to watch people play as they sort of jockey position for position in the beginning, but then it's sort of like when somebody strays from the herd and that one becomes weaker, you may try and pick that player off if you're in 3rd place out of a 4-player game so that you can survive and be one of the winners.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We've got a couple more minutes. If you do want to give a quick overview of Bear Down.
Be happy to. So this was launched in Germany as Grizzly. And there are a couple of super neat features about this. The first is that we use the box to make the game board. So we have a 3-dimensional game board here, which is really neat. And the second one is that move this out of the way. There we go. So this is a little farther back. The water flows. There are water tiles in each of these channels. And on every turn, the water flows. So you will see movement in this game and action in this game. The way that it works is very simple. We're each bears. We're trying to capture the most fish. We can catch the most fish and eat them. That's what bears do. One player rolls the dice, and we will get a combination of water tiles like this, water and fish. And you can see this one has both water and fish. So what we do is that this purple die matches this purple channel. And we pick up one of the water tokens, which I've conveniently put off camera, and we slide it in because there's one water here. And as you can see, that actually pushes something down. So we got one water, you do the water first, and then we've got an orange. So the water goes into the orange channel as well. On the pink channel, we've got 2 waters. So that knocks both of those fish over the edge. We then go and do the fish. The fish jump up the waterfall. So we need to put 1 on pink. We put 2 on green. 1, 2. And we put 1 on yellow. 1 on yellow. So after that happens, then every player gets to move.
Okay.
And you can move as far as you want to. Of course, bears have no impulse control, so as soon as they reach a fish, they have to stop. So on each turn, you have a decision to make. How far to the edge do you want to go? As the game goes on, because the fish jump up and start closest to the edge of the waterfall, these stacks are going to get the tallest. So if I'm the green bear, I'm going to move maybe to here because there are 2 fish here. Once on my next turn, I can move back to here and capture those fish. That's how I collect the fish. I get 1 point for each fish. Or I could decide to try and move a little bit farther out and get a bigger stack. But the farther out I am, the more likely that I get pushed over the edge when those dice show up with water tiles on the channel that I'm in. The bear isn't out of the game. The bear just loses those fish and swims back to the bear boulder.
Okay. Super. Maybe get a quick recap here of when None of a Kind and Delt and Bear Down will hit the market in the U.S.
Yes. Delt is on the market now. It launched a couple of weeks ago. None of a Kind will be in mid-August, so in about 2.5 weeks. And Bear Down will be coming out in early September.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you very much, Jeff. Great to see the games out here. It's great to finally have Cross Careers out in English, although I will still say sehr krass every time I play, just because it's fun to use German slang, I guess. So thank you very much for the overview, and we'll see what's coming from Amigo in the future. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Nice to see you, Eric. Bye, Lincoln. Bye, Nikki. Thanks for playing.
Bye, Jeff.